The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me know that you can hear me out there, and I see a few friends of mine are in this webinar already. So Larry or Doc, if you can hear me, give me a heads up. Sean and Stephen, let me know you can hear me, and I'll start the webinar. It looks to me like my mic is working. It looks to me like everybody should be able to hear me. Larry, thank you very much. So I want to say hello to everybody. I am really, really excited. No, not that I need a new haircut. I'm really excited that today is the last webinar I'm going to be giving before life is going to change and Magnet 2.0 will be released. And I'm really serious. I think that our Magnet software is life-changing software. It gives you an opportunity to have a ton of winning trades. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, it's possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully and be smart about what you do. We trade the appointment-based trading method. We use the NinjaTrader platform, and we use futures to trade. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm going to talk a little bit about earning trades today because earning season is just winding up. And when we talk about trading earnings at 10-Minute Trades, we invented a methodology that lets us trade futures on selected earnings trades. It's a fantastic way to trade earnings. At 10-Minute Trades, we have a full-blown system, and I go over this all the time at every webinar. I just like to explain how our system works. So if you're new and have never heard from us before, you have an idea of the way our system works. We're not going to spend a ton of time on why 10-Minute Trades works and why the reports move, but I just want to give a very quick, brief overview of our system. There's 4 elements to our system: the weekly schedule, the daily trade reports, the trade room, and the software. Our software is made up of multiple strategies. We have 3 strategies that make up our software: News Trader strategy, the Magnet strategy, and the Trap Trade strategy. And inside those strategies are multiple setups. We have market open trades. We have range trades. We have the spike traditional news breakout trade that everybody knows and loves. We have all sorts of different setups inside our various strategies. So you have a way to trade any situation that you might be faced with. You can automate your trades. You can trade semi-automated. You can be a discretionary trader and use our software. Many of our setups are fantastic for prop trading. So it's everything that you want to do. Our software covers the gamut. Many different setups, easy to learn. That's the best part. So once again, 4 elements in the system: the weekly market mover, which is our schedule, the daily market mover trade reports, trade room access, and our software. Those are the pieces to the puzzle. Our weekly schedule is very simple. It's free. Anyone can have it. Just go to our website, 10minutetrades.com, and you can opt in for the video how to find your own 10-minute trades, and we will then automatically start sending you our weekly schedule. The weekly schedule has important information on it all in one place: the time of the event that we're going to trade, the time that our trade room opens. Not every event is an event we take care of in our trade room. Some events we're just watching. And at the right side of the schedule, we have our notes. Watch. That's a report. Maybe it's not moving right now. Maybe it's not profitable right now, but it's on watch. So keep a close eye on events that are on watch. That means something is up and there's extra information about them. A lot of times, if you want to get the information, the extra information about what we're doing, that's where the trade room comes in. Everything flows from our trade room. It's the place where you want to be if you want to trade news and market moving events with us, because that's where we go over everything. Every day the markets are different. Look at the markets today. I'm going to show you a PPI report that I told everyone in the trade room not to trade. Am I upset that I told them not to trade it? You know what? I am upset that I told them not to trade it because I made a whole bunch of money trading it. But I felt the markets were too volatile at that moment to trade PPI. And I'm going to show you a video in a minute. I'll explain what I mean. And the reality is, I have been trading the news for almost 10 years. I believe, and I'm not bragging, but I am one of the most knowledgeable people in the world when it comes to understanding how to trade news. That doesn't mean I'm a perfect trader. It means I can teach you an unbelievable amount of important information so you can trade the news successfully. Whether or not you're a great trader is a totally different issue. Back to our weekly schedule. When the room opens is shown on it, the event we're trading. We have something called family money trades. Those are the best of the best events that we trade. And then we have the instrument that we're trading, whether the risk is high or low, and whether or not there might be a daily trade report. What's the daily trade report? Some of the events that we trade get a daily trade report. It has a small journal of maybe the past 6 events that we're analyzing. It might have multiple trade setups for that particular event, ways that we are going to consider trading the event. So the daily market mover is a trade report, and we send it to our members the day before the event takes place. Not every event gets the coverage of a daily market mover. Some of our events are what we call trade room events, and you have to come into our trade room if you want to learn the best possible way to trade that event. I believe that it's a great idea to come into our trade room if you want to learn the best way to trade every event, because it's like I was saying what happened this morning. The market was so volatile because of worries about what's going on in the news. It wasn't even specific news that occurred, it was just general worrying. But we are able to tell and to discern if the markets are safe or if they're not safe to trade, because sometimes the market is so volatile, you might not want to take a trade. You might want to watch and wait. And that's knowledge you need to know. And it's knowledge that sometimes takes years of experience to understand. The average new trader, they don't know when the market isn't safe to trade. They don't know when gold has moved too much to take a safe trade. So it's very important to be involved with people that have the skill and the wherewithal and the knowledge, and people that do the research so that you can be taught the right way to trade market moving events that move quickly. So before I get further into this, let me show you what happened on PPI today. So everybody knows the market was waiting for the PPI report today. And the PPI report is very important. Producer Price Index is what it stands for, and it's an inflation report. And it has a lot to do with what's going on in the pricing, that people are paying for various goods. So it's an important event that the market looks at. And if the PPI is higher than expected, that's generally not good news. If it's lower than expected, that's generally good news. And when there's bad news, generally the market goes down. When there's good news, generally the market goes up. But we also trade a lot of gold, and gold often does the opposite. Sometimes when there's bad news, gold will go up. And sometimes when there's good news, gold will go down. But what was going on today was this chart here on the left was gold. Before we even got to the news report, it was about 25 minutes before the news, and gold just started to move relentlessly to the upside. I kept looking on our various news alert calendars that we look at to see if something was announced, an attack or an explosion or a bombing. Everyone's waiting for Iran to be bombed. We don't know what's going to happen. 100 tick movement on gold in a minute. That is a lot of movement. That told me we might be facing a market. And I'm just showing you the gold market moving. As we were putting our trade on, we were trying to decide, can we put a trade on and take a trade in this market? It might not be safe. So what you're seeing is actually all the things I was doing in the trade room while we're also watching the market, this gold market on the left. It's 8:20. The news is expected at 8:30. And very honestly, I was extremely concerned that it might not be safe to trade. We were also watching the RTY. We had 2 trade setups on PPI, really 3, but only 2 was I recommending. We had a gold reversal trade set up, and we had a breakout spike trade set up for the RTY. With our spike trade, it's very straight ahead, but the RTY was selling off pretty heavily, so we expanded the size of our bracket, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. With our reversal trade with gold, we had orders of 105 ticks. The way that our trap trade reversal trade works, I'll show you because I'll put the trade on the screen. Right before the news comes out, our orders show up on the chart 5 seconds before the news comes out. Our orders, we have 2 orders above the current price, 2 orders below the current price. And when the market moves up, we sell the market. When the market goes down, we buy the market. So you could see gold. I had orders very far away from the current price, 100 ticks and 150 ticks. That's a huge move. I made those orders extremely far away, but I did tell everybody in the trade room they probably should not trade this report. Now we have, prop trades that we use for testing, prop trades that are funded. I did not trade this report in my funded prop account. I traded it in an eval account. So the worst case happens, maybe it blows up the account. Nothing terrible occurs because of that. You could either wait for the account to reset when the month starts over, or you could pay 39 bucks to reset the account. No harm done. But I recommended that people did not trade the PPI report with cash, especially because there was too much risk. Gold had gone up well over 130 ticks before the news in a matter of minutes. I felt that there was too much risk versus the reward for people to take. Ironically, both of them. Now, here's the other thing though. I knew there was a ton of risk, so I modified our setup to at least give me the best opportunity for a winning trade. And I did that to both the RTY, where I expanded our bracket, and to the tiers, the orders, the brackets on the trap trade, I significantly expanded them so that when the news came out, we didn't want the price to go in one direction only and go through our stop. The trap trade, remember, I want to get filled in one direction, and then when it reverses, that's how I make my money. So first, watching the RTY on the right, our setup was clearly safe. There was plenty of time for our orders to go on the chart, and there was a perfect spike trade in one direction, and we made almost $300 in 1 second on the RTY. But you notice gold, nothing filled yet. Our orders were very far away from current price, but gold started to move when the news came out, and the news was very bad. I was actually surprised that gold was going in that direction. Now, you could say that gold was going in that direction because it was very bullish on the day and it was just taking a breather, but I believe the news was pushing gold. It just happens sometimes it'll push it in a direction you don't expect. If you'll notice, though, what's going to happen here, Price goes down. It's going to go through my first order and it's going to put me in the market long. Then almost immediately we get a reversal. And even with the very tricky, difficult conditions to trade, the market changed direction and we were able to get a $500 profit out of that trade. We were able to bring our stop to safety and start to trail. I truly thought we might be going back to the high of the day, but it didn't. We made a profit of 500. It pulled back and took us out of the market. Both trades were super, almost 300 on the RTY and 500 on gold. Unfortunately, we really felt the market was a little bit too unsafe for the average trader to trade. And I did tell people, full disclosure, that most people should not be trading that event. If you're experienced like we are, we were able to create a setup that survived the crazy volatility of this morning's events. So it was very interesting, very, very interesting, but you want to be involved with people that understand and know these markets. So talking quickly, the appointment-based method, which is what we use, it's a pre-planned time-based approach to the market. We schedule our trades generally up to a week in advance. You can schedule them even further, up to a month if you want to. And we have categories that create our events. Category 1 is a high impact economic report, such as the PPI report, GDP reports. Big company earnings reports are great categories to trade. And then market open and closes. And we trade the market open every day in our trade room. So we trade a whole collection of different setups. There's hundreds of triggers, hundreds of events within those categories. We pick and choose the best of those events to trade, and we find them on the various calendars that are available for free in the marketplace. Forex Factory is one of our favorite calendars. I'll just show you very briefly how to find events on Forex Factory. Forexfactory.com, press the word calendar, and then you get a week full of events that you can look at to trade. All right. You don't have to figure out which ones to trade, though. We've done it for you and we've put them on our schedule, right? That's where we get events for our schedule. And then we have investing.com is another very good calendar. We use that calendar every day in our trade room. They have a very good economic calendar, and what we use their calendar for, they show you at the exact, most of the calendars at the exact time of the news, they will show you the news result. So we actually shrink investing.com, their screen down, and then we make it a part of our charts. And I'll show you when you were looking at our PPI report, the video I showed you over here on the right, you could see that we're using the investing.com website. We integrate it into our trading. So we teach all our members how to use all of these tools. Tradingeconomics.com is another good calendar. Financial Juice we like very much. They have a live squawk box, which is very important to us. We pay for the live squawk box. We listen to the news in our headset while other calendars are showing us what the news result is. So that's something we use Financial Juice for every day. And then when we're doing our earnings, we use a great website. Earningswhispers.com is one of the first websites we go to when we start looking for earnings reports to trade. It's a great site. When you go to their website, earningswhispers.com, across the top, you get a greatest hits list. Then if you want to just put in the ticker of a stock that you want to trade, maybe you know that Broadcom is coming up this week. So you put AVGO in, and then you can do a little bit more research. They show you a weekly chart of Broadcom. They show you what happened on Broadcom's previous earnings. And they also have a great calendar. So I could look at their calendar every day And we have a collection of reasons. We have boxes that you would tick off that make a company possible to trade with futures. So if a company fits all the boxes that we tick off, then we will look at them for trading earnings. Earnings Whispers allows us to look at an individual company and check it for many of the reasons why we would choose a company to trade earnings. All you have to do is click on the actual company itself, and then you get that list that we were just looking at as if you typed in the ticker symbol. Earningswhispers.com, a great trading tool if you're going to trade earnings with futures the way we do, or if you're just interested in trading earnings. You can trade in a prop account the way that we trade. Quite a few of our members have been taking payouts. Bullinox pays our members. Lucid pays our members. Absolutely, there are companies that allow you to trade the way that we trade. We do not recommend dozens and dozens of breakout trades because those tend to be inconsistent in terms of the dollar profits. You don't want to have a $5,000 trade, an $80 trade, a $200 trade, a $900 trade. You want to be more consistent. 300 here, 500 there, 250 here, 600 there. You follow me? The prop accounts, they require consistency. They have consistency rules. If you make 2,000 one day and 80 the same day, and then 40 and then 2,000 again, you're not going to be able to get payouts trading that way. So you want to understand the best way to trade, and we try to educate our members how to do that as well. But people say, oh, you can't trade news with a prop account. Not true. You can. Many of our members are getting paid. It is absolutely possible to do. Our software, again, we call it News Trader, Trap Trade, and Magnet Trade. Those are the three setup strategies that we have. Our strategies, they're custom add-ons to NinjaTrader. They have multiple setups. They automate or semi-automate your trade entries, targets, and stops. Our software is a super ATM, an automated trade manager, so you don't have to learn a ATM language that your platform requires you to learn. All you have to do is learn how to enter numbers into our software so you could set up a trade. It's very easy. So let's talk about the Magnet strategy. We're going to talk about Magnet 2.0. It's being released Monday. We're going to have a very special webinar on Monday where we're going to show our members, anyone who owns and uses the Magnet strategy or subscribes to it, we're going to teach you how to do everything with it to get started. Download the software. Now, something that people forget about, I just want to say it as something in general, something that people don't do often enough, that traders don't do often enough. Do yourself a favor and once a week, back up your NinjaTrader. Why do you want to back up your NinjaTrader? Well, a lot of times you might load something that causes a problem. Sometimes when you load a perfectly good strategy, files that are corrupt in NinjaTrader might interfere with your being able to put the strategy into your computer, into your NinjaTrader platform. So it's very important to back up your NinjaTrader before you install something new, something big, something that's totally changing everything you're going to do. Here, just because it's so easy to do, I want to give everybody the knowledge how to back up your NinjaTrader. It's simple, okay? It's simple if you keep it on the screen. So hang on a second. So to back up your NinjaTrader, all you got to do, disconnect your live connections, right? So you disconnect your live connections. It takes a second. And then in the control center, you go back to connections and you go, first you're going to go to tools. You're going to go to export a backup file, all right? And make sure your connections are closed. If they're not, see, I accidentally didn't close that one. Tools, you're going to go to export, backup file, and then this is the only tricky part. What do you need to check? I would check everything. If you check market replay and you download a lot of replay data, it might take you a while to do the backup. If you don't back up replay data, that's the only thing that really can slow up a backup. Then you export the file. It asks you for a file name. Give it the file name that's comfortable, that you know where it is so you can find it. And that's how you back up your NinjaTrader. It's simple, it's easy, it takes about 5 minutes. And if you do that, when you install something, maybe you bought an indicator, you don't know the company, maybe you've got a free indicator. You found it online and you don't know if that indicator is corrupted or screwed up. If you back up your Ninja before you install it and it screws up your NinjaTrader, you don't need help from tech support. So definitely, I can't stress how important it is to back up your NinjaTrader on a regular basis. All right, that's enough of that. Getting back to our magnet strategy, let me get back to the slide we were just on. So today we're going to talk about our magnet strategy 2.0. Very briefly, I've had a lot of webinars on what a magnet is. Magnets are prices, levels that are on the chart that dozens and dozens and thousands of traders, they put their orders around these levels, and because they put their orders around these levels tend to pull price. These levels tend to pull price anyway because they're important levels. What are the important levels that people look at? Well, we look at the high of the day. This green line is the high of the day. We look at the low of the day. This red line is the low of the day. We look at the VWAP. One of the big setups in our magnet is trading around the VWAP. The VWAP gets tested all throughout the day. We all know it. The VWAP often gets tested. What do I mean by getting tested? I mean price gets pulled into the VWAP and it gets touched. And when the VWAP gets touched, that's when we exit our trade. We're using the magnet, the VWAP, as a magnet because we know that over and over during an average trading day, the high of day, the low of day, certain pivots, they're getting tested. And we're trading those tests. And that's what a magnet is. It's a trade of a test of a very popular level that over and over is being tested each day. So you don't have to just trade the instruments that we like. If you like trading the grains, well, I can promise you the grains have magnets. If you like trading micro Bitcoin futures, I promise you micro Bitcoin futures have magnets. If you like gold or micro gold, guaranteed. Every instrument that you like to trade has magnets that you can set our trades up on. You can use our software with NinjaTrader to take these magnet trades. Almost every single morning in the trade room, we have successful magnet trades. YM has been a great market open. So look, we trade, everybody knows that 10-minute trades is a news trading company. We trade market moving events, but we also now trade. Over the years, we've developed our software to trade around the news because we've recognized that sometimes trading at the exact second of the news, it's hard. And you want to have the opportunity to trade around the news. There's lots of reversals. There's lots of moves that take place after the spike. And we've developed our software so you could take advantage of trading around the news. And that's another very important issue or very important element of the magnet strategy. It trades around the news. Also, our first magnet strategy was very simple. We traded highs and lows, and we exit the market at the high and low, or maybe we traded the R1. We also had the ability to type in any value, any level, and you could use any level that you think might be a magnet. You can type that level into our magnet software, and that level could be the magnet. All of those features, of course, are still in our current magnet software, but we updated it. And what we've done is we've automated a lot more of the pivot trading. So what do I mean? Let me show you a couple of magnets. That's the first thing. I'll show you just we've had, like I said, almost every day in our trade room, we had a winning YM magnet. So we'll start February 18th, all right? We trade the open, like I said, the market, it's 9:30, and very often it takes a minute or two for the magnet to take place. Notice the concept is very, very simple though. Very simple. You see here we have a low of day. That red line is the low of the day, not complicated. The heavy red line is our order entry. We created that heavy line by turning on our magnet strategy. That's what gave us the line. We turned on the strategy. We now have a short entry at that line, at that level. We can move that level just by pressing the mouse button, and we can slide it up and down, so we can totally customize our levels. We also have the ability now in our new version, if you notice, this magnet has the PP in the middle of the low of day. In the old version, we just ignored the PP. We couldn't do anything with it. That's also a very powerful magnet. Maybe price will just go to the PP and then reverse. The new software has the ability to just trade the closer target. It's called nearer target. And instead of trading the magnet for the exit, it would exit a little bit higher up at the central pivot, the PP. But I want to show you how a magnet works. We have multiple systems in our magnet software, multiple trading systems. We have the high of day, low of day magnet, which is probably my favorite. High of day, low of day magnet exits at the high of day and at the low of day. We have the ability to tell the software, do you want to exit exactly at the high, exactly at the low? I like to exit a few ticks before it gets there. So if it doesn't touch the high or the low, you still get a test. Maybe 3 ticks away is a pretty valid test, I like to think. So if I get 3 ticks to the low, that's my target, target 1. And then you have the ability to put a second target on. If it goes through the magnet and keeps bursting down and down and down, it's possible to take advantage of a second move. Here's the magnet trade. So our red line was pierced by market movement, by the price. Our software automatically, if you notice, it put the stop on and it put our orders on. Our first order is going to get filled right now, and our second order, boom, acts like a magnet. The magnet pulls price. It's exactly what happened here. Price got pulled into the low of the day. We put our trade on, right? Our trade hit the first target, and then it got pulled into the second target, and we had a really nice winning trade trading a YM magnet. That's what I mean when I say we are looking for levels. The concept is the same with any level that you might think is a magnet, could very well be a magnet, okay? You might have a Fibonacci that you love. Everybody knows that Fibonacci's are watched by a lot of people. So Fibonacci's would probably be a good magnet because it's a price level that's going to get tested, especially because lots of people put their orders around those price levels. You're still going to get low of the day, high of day tests, even if no one put their orders there. Those are levels that they're just natural magnets. But there are magnets that just seem to work better because people put their orders there and they seem to really pull the price. And you know what? The analysis doesn't matter. It's the price action. When the market is moving in a certain direction, there's lots of signs that you can read that will help you determine that it's a good time to put on a magnet, for instance, long, or a magnet short, or maybe you're just going to trade the VWAP magnet. okay? Where you're not necessarily making a gigantic commitment to a high or a low. You're trading in between the high and the low. But we have the ability in our software, so we can turn the magnet on. But first, before I even get there, I just wanted to remind you of one thing that I said so you understand. Our software is 3 strategies with a collection of setups. So when I go to strategies, on the left side of NinjaTrader, I've got our trap trade, which I set up on that PPI trade I showed you. And it's not hard to set up a trap trade. This is all of the inputs that are possible to set up a trap trade. We only put in a few inputs: the stop, how big our ticks are between our orders, and we label the trade, we give it a name, and that's it. And then we apply it and okay it, and we have a trap trade. But the point I'm making is our software installs into NinjaTrader. We have 3 strategies, and inside those strategies are setups. So for instance, our main news trader, our setups are, we have a breakout, the spike trade. We have the range trade, which a lot of our earnings and some of our market open trades are range trades. And then we have one of our best friends, the reverse continuation. Use that every day on almost every single chart. That's a fantastic setup for around the news. Once the news comes out, the market may go in a direction. You know it's going in that direction. You turn on your trade to go in that direction with it, and that's our reverse continuation. Or you try to take a reversal with it. Very, very easy to set up. Excellent trade to put on. We put it on every single chart, so if the opportunity arises, we can take advantage of it. And then our third setup, or even more, we can click a little button, advanced trade types, and now instead of having 3 setups, we have other setups that we teach our members for specialized moments. We have a reverse breakout, a reverse spike, but we have a variety of different setups. You don't need to learn but a few of them to really, really do well with our software. But like any powerful software, there are extra features that a more advanced person can take advantage of. And remember, you can trade discretionary, you can trade automated, semi-automated, depending on the setup. And of course, I'll say it again, we are very prop account friendly with many of our setups. The magnet setup is very interesting. Okay, when you turn on the magnet and enter it in, you've got a lot of inputs on the magnet, but don't let it scare you. One of the inputs that we have on the magnet, we wanted to set up, have the reverse continue available to magnet traders because it's such an important part of what we do, and it's such an important part of news trading. So we made the reverse continuation, which is actually part of our news trader strategy. We also made that part of our magnet trade strategy. So from inside the magnet, you actually have 2 setups at once. You've got the reverse continuation, which you would use after or before a magnet trade took place. So for instance, you saw that YM, right? You saw that YM trade work beautifully. So this week in our room, we had an oil trade, all right? We traded the oil news. And we don't trade the oil news all that often because as a report, and this is again a very important reason why people spend time with us, we know the oil report has been a lousy report to trade. It hasn't been moving the oil market. Other things have been moving the oil market. But this week, something happened. It was an anomaly. The news was so outrageous. There was so much of a build, unexpected value, that it created a big movement in the oil trade. And we were able to take advantage of it because on our chart, we had the reverse continuation setup. And all the reverse continuation setup does is it allows us to press a button and get into the market immediately, short or long. I took an immediate short by pressing our short button, all right? And because the news did what we really believed it would, we made money trading that short. We were testing the low of the day. Why? Because the low of the day is a magnet that gets tested, especially around news. And look what happens. We entered short and the market totally cooperated with us. Boom, it hits our short and we're out of the trade. Our breakout also worked, but we don't trade the breakout. It was in sim, whereas the reverse continuation was a real prop trade and we made money on it. And anybody that traded it with us made money on it as well for their account. Getting back to the magnet. So that reverse continuation setup is very important because maybe you had a gold magnet or an oil magnet and it tested the high or it tested the low, or the YM, for instance, like I just showed you. I could show you YM open after YM open. We trade YM magnets on the open. Here's another one. This was, I'll get the date in a second. It was the last couple of days. Today, this was this morning. Center chart. All right, chart in the center, looking for the YM to fill the short. The YM, all the markets were very negative this morning. We put our order on that red line. Heavy line is our order. We turned our magnet automatic so it would fill when it went through that red line. It chopped around a little bit. It took 6 minutes after the open. We got filled, and there's a magnet working like a magnet. Took us out of the trade right where our exit was, right at the magnet, the low. And that was our magnet trade. It was perfect. Perfect. And then you'll notice that we get these little arrows. These little arrows are our trade system working inside the magnet. That's another setup that we have inside our magnet software. So we've got what I was saying before is our new magnet has a fully blown signal system inside. So after you make a new high or a new low, our magnet software starts analyzing the market, looking for reversal signals. That's the main thing that we are looking for with the signal system in our magnet software. We're looking for changes in direction, particularly when do you get very predictable changes in direction? After the news. So for instance, when we turn on our magnet software, and when I say turn it on, we just put it on. When we put the software on, it starts to look for signals. So after a magnet takes place, signals get generated. For instance, this was a YM signal that got generated after the VWAP was tested. Now, if you're in a market that's going up, you're more inclined to take signals to the upside. If you're in a market going down, you're more inclined to take signals to the downside. You don't take every signal. It's just any signal system. You have to learn a little bit about why you would take one signal over another. Here's a magnet signal that took place 5:50 in the morning on the YM. It happened to be a very good signal. And there was good reason to take it. It was under the VWAP, candles were red, price had made a test of the VWAP and pulled back, the squeeze had gone negative. There were a lot of reasons why you might want to take a risk on that trade. And the way that we set things up is we have a very smaller risk on our magnet trade as possible. In this particular case, our stop would be above the VWAP, okay? And magnets are almost always trading in the direction of the market. So Donna, those magnets I showed you, they were very clear. They were showing you exactly what direction to take the trade. Let me show you again so that there's no confusion. On the market here, we have the low of the day. We explain in our trade room that that low of the day is our target. That's where we're taking our short, at the low of the day. So our order line is above that low of the day. The thick order line is where we get pulled into the market as it magnetizes, so to speak. bingo, we're getting pulled in. We pressed our auto button to turn it purple so we would get filled. And now we're pulled into the market to the short side for that trade. Okay. We always know the direction that we are going to trade. We always know that direction. Okay. We're not, here's the VWAP, it's above us. That's going to be a long trade. All right. There's no other way it could be tested. All right. And then our signal system, just getting back to our signal system actually has multiple setups within the system. We can trade high of day and VWAP signals. That's my favorites. Those are the best signals generated with our system. We also have a way to trade all signals, and all signals just generates, at this point in time, it will generate too many signals. However, we do have some filters that we use. We do also have a couple, besides having filters, we have other ways that we're going to be teaching our members to filter their signals, okay? Because look, you don't always want to take the first signal you get. So you just have to understand the rules of the signals. You must understand where your stop has to go when you take signals so you don't give the market money. In this particular instance, we did get a signal to the long side and it failed. It did fail after a profit was available. All right. You might have, maybe, probably not, in my opinion, you had about 20 ticks of profit available. However, if your stop was in the right place, you would have stayed in this trade, okay, and survived this small pullback, and you would have had this big burst up where the available profit was much, much greater than 20 ticks. Let me show you. So it's very important to understand, and I don't want to take the highest spot because I started a little bit higher, lower than I should have, but there was easily 60 ticks of target available in that signal. So many signals, sometimes you'll get a signal that's incorrect in the sense that it didn't give you enough profit. But I also would not be taking this short signal in this case because we're testing the low. We're going to take the longs, okay? When we're testing the low, we're waiting for the longs. Anyway, our signal system has the standalone method that generates the most signals. Then we have our high of day, low of day signals. And then one more thing I want to show everybody besides our signals. Let me just go through very quickly one of the most popular ways that you might do a magnet trade. So in the morning, like I said, we get constant winning trades in the mornings. We get great magnets, and you get signals very often before the open. Look, we had a signal to go long before we got to the VWAP, and it was a pretty decent signal. Momentum had changed, but that's not my point. Look at the magnet. We have a heavy line here. We know we're looking to go long because the market's pushing up. It's very bullish. All the reasons in the world are telling us we want to go long on this magnet. So I turn my magnet into auto mode. When it passes through my order, it fills me. Right there, it passes through that thick line. It fills me, all right? And it takes me out of the trade when it hits the magnets. That's the winning trade, when it takes you out at the magnet. It happens all the time in the room. It goes through it, but then something else often happens. You get a signal. And if we determine it to be a good signal to take, it often creates a whole other trade, another trade after the magnet. All day long, there are magnets. This happened to be a phenomenal signal. My favorite signals are the signals that occur off of highs and lows. My second favorite signals are the VWAP signals. My third favorite are the standalones, and those are really beta signals. We're working on the standalones because it just creates too many. And we know that. We teach our members, we're going to teach our members what to do so they don't do what they shouldn't, and use the software for the things it does the best. All right, that's the most important thing. So magnets, signals, reverse continuations, all of those elements help to make our traders being able to take payouts, being able to make cash. All sorts of positive events are taking place from this type of trading. I want to show you one other quick thing. I went much longer than I thought. One of the other biggest things we upgraded in Magnet 2.0 is targeting. So remember I said you could target the VWAP. When I say target, that's the magnet. The VWAP is my exit. S1 is my exit. The low of the day is my exit. With our heavy line, we can move our exits, our entries, all right? The heavy line is our entry. I can also turn off the high of day, low of day system and just monitor signals and take the signals with the reverse continuation trade. Very, very powerful, very important. Let me say that again. Off doesn't mean off. It means give me signals, but don't put the high of day, low of day orders on the chart. You're still going to get high of day signal reversals, low of day signal reversals, and if you want them, VWAP signal reversals, because it's part of the software. You just have to check a box that simply says VWAP signals. It's not complicated. And we have some interesting filtering built in. You can make the software need more bars of momentum before it generates a signal. And that really helps to get rid of extraneous signals. So I was going to show you about 100 different trades today because I wanted to give you a reason to take the offer that I'm going to make you now. And I don't want to get into Rory's time, but I was going to show you a couple other quick things. How great our trap trade setup was. We traded consumer confidence this week. We had a trap trade set up, a trap trade. Remember, it's a reversal trade. Consumer confidence came out. We had two orders above the market price, two orders below. The price shot down on the news, and in 1 second, the price reversed, and we were in over $1,000 profit on that trade. When we were done trailing, we gave back a little bit of that, but we had over an $800 profit on consumer confidence, trading our trap trade, our reversal trade on consumer confidence. I've got dozens of magnet trades I could show you. I want to show you one more trade because it was so fantastic and so much fun. And it's so much fun when it happens. We had an MNQ open trade this week. We trade market opens, we use the RTY, the MNQ, and we trade the YM because we have great setups. And our MNQ is a winner, I would say right now, easily 80% winners every day, 80% every week. We have never had a week that I could think of where we've had more than 2 stops out of 5. 2 would be rare. It's been rare to get 1 full stop a week. What we do is we have a breakout trade on the MNQ. Everybody chooses the number of contracts they want to trade, all right? But when you get a wonderful trade that hits your target, puts you in the market, and then allows you to put your stop above your break even, and then keeps going, so you could keep trailing your stop higher and higher, making more and more money, and it just kept going and going and going. Watch this trade. It was crazy. People had so much fun trading this trade, and sometimes it happens. And this wasn't a magnet trade. This was just one of our regular trades. It didn't stop. It kept going and going and going. Eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to trail too close to the current price, and it's going to take you out of the trade. Eventually, it has to reverse a little bit. And while we were doing that, by the way, our magnet trade on the YM was trading on the other side on a different chart. And I didn't finish the recording, but we were making money on the YM as well. We had some very good trading this week. And I'm not going to lie, we've had stop outs this week. I got stopped terribly on NVIDIA this week. Every trade isn't a winner. We don't lie about it. We are very transparent. The key is we're teaching our members what to do, and we are trying to teach you the best skills so that you could become a smart trader. Let me get to an offer I wanted to make for everyone, because Monday we're releasing our magnet software. And if you want to take advantage in the class, then you can take advantage in our class on Monday. Our new Magnet 2.0 includes a custom chart template, so you don't have to load all of the indicators. They'll come preloaded. All you'll have to do is move your chart, spread your chart a little wider or a little more narrow. We include a template. If you take me up on this offer, you can come to our class on Monday, and we're going to teach everyone how to download the software, but how to install everything, set up the template. It's not hard, but it's nice when somebody walks you through everything. If you take me up on this offer, I'm in every trade room teaching you how to use our software, how to enter all the values into the software, how to use your trade room subscription to the ultimate, how to use the trap trade the best way, how to use the prop accounts the best possible way. We have a fantastic offer, 3 months. Everything that we offer is included. The trade room, the DMM trade reports, all of our software strategies. The new magnet will be available on Monday. You'll be able to download the new magnet. You'll be able to take part in our Magnet 2.0 Masterclass. We're going to give a masterclass on the Magnet software for just $247 for 3 months, everything included. Let me put the link in the chat. It's a really, really reasonable price. First off, we have had month-long trials. What I truly believe, if we are completely transparent the way that life is, 1 month is not enough time to give any system a test. Things can go incredibly well in a month. Things can be horrible in 1 month. I really believe that a 3-month time period is the value of time that you want to give to almost any system. I mean, 2 months is fine. I think 2 months is reasonable, but that's why we've priced our offer so it's extremely reasonable. It's an investment you make in yourself, just $247. Absolutely everything is included. All of our setups, all of our earnings trade rooms, every one of our magnet trade rooms, all the new software is included. And it's for 3 months. If you need help or you have questions about this setup, about this offer, you can reach me, help@10minutetrades.com. I believe that it is a really fair, reasonable offer for everything. We'll teach you all about our news trader software, the magnet strategy, how to use the trap trade. You'll learn the whole appointment-based trading method, and you'll have enough time so that you can learn it properly. You'll learn how to choose the news events to trade, the best events. You'll learn what are the best earnings trades to take. You'll learn how to trade on a schedule. Nothing beats trading on a schedule. We don't sit in front of our charts all day long. We're trading on a very specific schedule. So it's just $247. I've posted the link into the chat. I'll also send 8,000 emails when the webinar's over, like we always do. But you get everything, the DMMs, the trade room access, all the strategies, everything that we offer, all the software. And then if you do join us for this. You'll be able to join us in our trade room for the magnet strategy. Actually, we'll do it on GoToWebinar. You'll be able to take advantage of our class on Monday, where we're going to go through absolutely everything. All right. So you can take advantage of this offer. So does anybody have any questions for me? Let me see if there were any questions. You do need NinjaTrader to trade this system, okay? And like I said, we will teach you how to use the software. Monday at noon, it will be recorded, Donna, for anybody that can't make it. But trading magnets, it should become a regular part of your trading strategy because it's a very successful method of trading. It just day after day, our members are successfully using these setups. And again, any instrument that you like trading can be used to trade magnets. Any indicator that you like to use could be used to trade magnets because we have custom levels. You can put your own levels in. So I want to thank everybody. I've posted the link in the chat. Take us up on our offer. If you really want to learn a method of trading that really works, $247 is not a lot of money. One trade can easily pay for 3 months of our service. So I really urge you to join us. I think you'll have a fantastic experience. So Rory, I want to thank you for having me. And everybody, thanks for listening. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it. Man, that magnet, I love it. I can't wait to see it. That magnet 2.0.
All right, Rory, thanks again.
Awesome. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, everyone. Let me go ahead and switch the chart over. We've been doing these presentations with Lee for a long time. Really a great guy. Bear with me for just a moment. I mean, gotta make myself the presenter first. Okay. And Lee is an absolute expert at trading the news. Over the years, he's accumulated data, and he knows which ones are going to win, have the highest likelihood of winning, which reports and when they come out. And he calls it his family money trades. Okay, excellent. So let me just check and make sure that you can see my screen. This is an AI generated picture of myself, and thank you, Larry. Prop trading without emotion, man, trading without emotion. Even with automation, sometimes it can be hard. It's, man, it's the #1 killer for me.